So this is Grad School 101 for the College of ECS. Um, so this is kind of, all about what does the grad school application process look like, specifically, again, for the College of ECS. And so this is kind of our agenda for the day, kind of, an introduction to grad school, how to find the right program for you, what does the application process look like, what do funding opportunities look like, and any other available resources on campus that might be able to help you out. So why grad school? Oftentimes, especially within those majors in the College of ECS, grad school doesn't cross a lot of people's minds, which is why the turnout, again, for the ECS workshops tend to be a little bit lower, but, it's great that you both are here. So why grad school? So grad school does increase your income potential. You are less likely to be unemployed. It does increase leadership role opportunities. For some fields and some jobs, it is required for you to have a graduate degree. It does increase the ability to help out your family and your community, through network opportunities. And there is more access to healthcare and retirement plans. Again, that comes with the income potential and the likelihood of being unemployed. So what are some potential jobs, that you have with a graduate degree in the field of ECS? So, you have the opportunity to be a lab coordinator, a computer systems analyst, web developer, information security analyst, and software developer. And, with some of these jobs, it's not so much that you can't do this with a bachelor's degree, but it significantly increases your opportunities, again, for, leadership and income opportunities. So it's not so much the entry-level aspect, but more so the increase in income and leadership. So, here is the salary differences between, graduate and undergraduate degrees. So if you look at civil engineering, there's, almost 20K difference. With computer engineering, there is, about the same, nearly about 15K difference. With computer science, you have about roughly the same, that 15, almost 20K. Electrical engineering, you have nearly 30K difference with electrical engineering. Mechanical engineering, you have almost as well 30K salary difference. So you do have, again, the opportunity to significantly increase your salary with a graduate degree as opposed to a bachelor's degree. And that does come, again, with leadership opportunities. And it also does vary significantly from state to state, again, with the cost of living. So if you're living in a higher cost of living state, you might see increases in your salary to compensate, that cost. So, what does grad school look like? So I have this comic strip here, where this individual is telling their parent, I'm defending my thesis, Mom. What does that mean exactly? Well, it means I'm close to graduating. There's still a possibility they will fail me and I'll have to stay longer or drop out. And the parent says, so I shouldn't get too excited. And a little excited would be nice. And this is kind of, the display. Sometimes, we enter grad school and our family has no idea what it is that we're experiencing, what we're doing. Even when we're writing our theses, we go through periods of stress because no one does understand, those experiences we are going through. So what does grad school look like? So as far as structure goes, undergrad programs are very much more structured curriculum, and grad school is less structured with increased autonomy when it comes to research. So what does that mean? So in terms of knowledge, undergraduates are expected to learn what's already out there. Whereas grad students rather are creating new content to be learned. They're contributing to their fields with the knowledge they're producing in their classes. They have the opportunity to submit research, to be published, and to be part of the community that contributes to the learning process. As far as academics go, undergraduates with a 3.0 are considered as being in good standing. Whereas if you fall below a 3.0 in grad school, it's considered on being placed on academic probation. As far as the course structures go, many courses meet, once a week, on average for about 3 hours per class section. And so most or many courses are offered in the evening. And as far as your course load goes, you're taking anywhere from 6 to 9 units. However, depending on your program, you might be taking 12 to 15 units if you're, required to take on an internship or what have you. So it really depends on your program. It really depends on if it's like a 2-year or a 3-year program. If you're on like a 2-year program course track, you might be taking 6 units. If you're on a 3-year track, you might be taking 6 units. If you're on a 2-year track, you might be taking 9 to 12. So it really depends on your program itself. Then there's the aspect of culminating experience, which is what I was talking about before when I was speaking about a thesis. So many programs will let you choose one of the 3 options, which is a thesis, a project, or a comprehensive exam. Sometimes programs might make you pick one or the other, between 1 or 2, maybe a thesis or a comprehensive exam, or there might be just one option. For example, you might only have the option for a thesis, or only the option for a comprehensive exam, or only the option for a project. So it really depends, again, on the program itself. As far as finding a school and a program, how do you find a school and a program? You need to make sure you're, discovering your interests, researching schools and programs, and preparing for your application. So what does it mean to discover your interests? It's really important that you take into consideration, you might be looking at different engineering programs, but what do those programs have to offer you? What experiences? What does a curriculum look like? So making sure that you're doing your research. Attending local, regional, national conferences and networking. You'll be able to see other people present their research, understanding what they're learning at those institutions, joining national discipline organizations. There are honor societies for different disciplines. Participating in research projects is a really big one, where maybe your professors in your classes are contributing to research within their fields. And for example, maybe they might ask you if you want to participate in that. Again, that goes back to attending those conferences. Then there are volunteer opportunities. Maybe you might not want to pursue a graduate degree in engineering. Maybe you want to go into education and you want to pursue like a master's in education, or maybe you want to go get a teaching credential. So it really depends, what it is that you find is suited for you. Internships and jobs in the field. Again, if you're networking with, with those at those conferences, you might be offered, internships or jobs as you complete your degrees, or if you're taking extra upper division courses and you're opting for an elective. Those are going to be able to offer you a broader perspective of what it is that you might want to do. Another important aspect goes back to your faculty. Get to know your faculty, whether it be formally or informally, inside and outside of class. Are you going to their office hours? Are you asking them questions? Are they also getting to know you? And that's really important because it enables for them to kind of refer you to programs if you're curious. For example, hey, Professor so-and-so, Dr. so-and-so, do you know of any programs where I could learn to expand my knowledge in this area? Or they might be able to refer you to a specific maybe person they went to college or grad school with who works at another university. I heard not long ago of an individual whose professor referred her to a professor at a school in Ohio. And they applied to that school because a professor at that school did research in the field that this individual wanted to expand in, and they were able to get fully funded through a scholarship. So, it's things like those that are important, building those faculty references. So how do you find, how do you know what school is right for you? Are you looking to stay locally? Are you looking to maybe branch out? What is important for you in terms of selecting a school? Are you looking into maybe staying public or private? Making sure that you're selecting schools that meet your goals, programs that meet your goals. Sometimes maybe you might be looking at a school because of the maybe the school name, but maybe the program that you're looking into isn't the best program. So maybe you need to change your approach. Which programs are ranked best? Maybe the school name isn't like the most well-known school, but the program within the community that you're practicing in is going to be one of the best programs for your field. For example, programs that are often overlooked are at the CSU level, but some of these programs are the best within their discipline. So, those are things to kind of take into consideration as well. Again, are you going to need to stay locally? Do you have, a family? Are you married? Do you have kids? Are you taking care of a loved one? Those are really important aspects to ask yourself. And then when it comes to public versus private, how are you going to fund your tuition if you're going to a private institution? Is there funding available through scholarships or fellowships? With public institutions, what does your financial aid package look like? Those are important questions to kind of ask yourself when you're searching for a grad school program. And you can gather information through, using these websites. And these are just some of the websites you can use. You can use, also the Cal State website, calstate.edu. You can use these websites provided here, and I'll upload this PowerPoint once we finish. So as of now, are there any questions that I might be able to answer before we move on to the next section? I see one in the chat box. So how common are terminal master's degrees when you don't complete a PhD? So terminal master's programs are actually fairly common depending on the discipline. So for example, it depends on if you want to teach, for example, if you want a PhD to teach, but maybe you don't want to go for your PhD right away. You can teach with a master's degree. I'm not sure if that's what you're asking. You can teach with a master's degree at like a community college level. You can teach with your master's even at the CSU level. The only thing is at the CSU level, you wouldn't be able to get tenured. You could be like an adjunct professor. So it really just depends on what your final goal is, but also a master's degree is a really good stepping stone toward a PhD. If maybe you're not ready to go for a PhD right away, a master's degree is a really good way to kind of go in that direction.
That wasn't exactly what I meant. What I meant was I know that sometimes when you are in a PhD program, but for some reason you cannot complete it, some programs award you a master's degree instead.
So that honestly would depend on the institution and their policies. And if they offer if they're accredited rather to offer a master's degree in that program. So say, for example, you choose to go to a UC and they have a master's program. A lot of UCs, they will offer, for example, you get a master's while you're getting your PhD, that's part of the program. And for example, you might be completing your PhD and you decide to drop out maybe 2/3 of the way of the program or whatever, halfway through the program. They might be able to award you that degree. But if they're not accredited to award a master's degree, they wouldn't be able to do that because they have to be according to WASC accreditation. Most of the colleges and universities on the West Coast are accredited by WASC. If they're not accredited to award a degree in a certain field, they cannot grant you that master's degree. So say, for example, you're attending UCLA for a PhD program, but they don't have the master's program for it. They can't award you that master's degree, even if you drop out, because they are not accredited to. Does that kind of answer your question? All right, cool. Are there any other questions? No, all righty. So the next section is going to cover, what does applying to grad school at Cal State Fullerton look like? So there is a two-step kind of process to applying to grad school at Fullerton, as well as many other CSU campuses. First of all, you have to be CSU eligible. So I'll cover what that means in a second, and then you have to meet the program admission standards. So there are two different standards, and there are two different parts of the process. So to apply to the university itself, you apply through calstate.edu/apply. That's where you initiate the process. For the College of ECS, from what I remember, there is no supplemental application, so you don't have to submit any separate documentations directly to the department. Everything goes directly through the CSU website. However, you still have to meet the separate requirements for each program. So you do submit everything here through CalState Apply. And so you have to make sure that you are submitting your transcripts. If you went to a community college, those are all uploaded. If you're staying at Fullerton, it shouldn't be too much of a problem because they should already have those on file. As far as the department requirements, you might have to meet a certain GPA requirement where maybe you need to meet a 3.0 in the last 60 units. So maybe your overall GPA is a 2.7 and you're worried about that 2.7. But your last 60 units, which means your junior year, senior years, you got a 3.5. Then you're meeting those specific requirements for admission already, because some programs only look at those last 60 units. So you have to make sure you're also reading the fine print. Don't let that fine print and you overlooking it be what stops you from applying to a program that you're interested in as well. The deadlines, make sure that you're also checking the deadlines. Check both the CalState Apply website and the program website, because each program will have different deadlines. There's not one universal deadline. I know when you're applying as an undergrad, there's a deadline of November 30th. Once November 30th passes, normally in the past, that's been the cutoff. I know that they've been extending the dates because of the pandemic, but as far as the graduate applications, they all have different deadlines. It could be anywhere from, November 30th, December 31st, January 1st, February 1st, January 15th. They're all different. So make sure you're paying close attention. Some are as early as, January, some are as late as even July. So you have to make sure you're paying close attention to what deadline your program has for that. And then these are the programs that are offered in ECS. So there's civil engineering, computer science, electrical engineering, environmental engineering, mechanical engineering, software engineering, accelerated software engineering. Are there any questions about the application process? And just to kind of go over the application process, some applications will require you to take maybe the GRE, which is a graduate records examination. Some of those are currently waiving those requirements. So make sure you double check with that as well. As far as, for example, letters of recommendation, some programs require 1 letter, some 2, some 3, some none. And then some will make you write a personal statement, and some will make you write a statement of purpose. Some will require you to submit a resume, some will not, some will require you to sit through an interview, but the Career Center actually helps you with all of that as well. They will actually revise your statement of purpose or personal statement. They will revise your resume, and they will actually help you prepare for mock interviews if those are things you're worried about as well. They also even have a template for letters for you to request a letter of recommendation from faculty. So if you reach out to the Career Center, you can actually ask them for help doing that. And I'll actually paste the link to the Career Center on the chat too. So when is the best time to apply to grad school? So it really depends on you. Some people decide that they want to take a gap year, that they want to take a year off to really kind of decompress. A lot of people go through burnout, going straight from undergrad to a master's program. And there's no right or wrong way. Some programs require you to have work experience before you can apply. So they'll, take time to gain that work experience before they come back. So it really just depends on you personally, what you feel is right for you. However, if you are going to apply, you have to apply the fall through the spring of the year before you want to attend. So say, for example, you're looking to attend next fall, so fall 2022, you would start applying now. The application period has opened as of October 1st. So if you were to start applying, the time would be now for next fall. And then you would finish applying before the deadline. So depending on the program, it could be, I think April 1st is the deadline for most of the ECS programs, but don't quote me on that. Please make sure you double check the website. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about funding really quick. So a lot of students think that there is no funding opportunities um, for students at the graduate level, but that is actually a major fallacy. If you normally get FAFSA or the DREAM Act, funding through the DREAM Act, you are actually eligible to get funding for grad school. So if, for example, maybe during undergrad, you are also not eligible because of your parents' income, you're no longer considered a dependent. You are considered now independent. So that's one of the perks of grad school as well, that you're no longer relying on your parents' taxes. Even if they can still claim you on their taxes, you're no longer relying on their taxes for financial aid purposes. So one of the awards that you're eligible for is called the State University Grant. So if you're planning on applying to grad school, but maybe your application's not ready, but you know where you're going to apply, I would recommend you file your FAFSA like today. Because if you're filing your FAFSA, it only takes about 10-15 minutes because you're just doing a renewal, you're just updating the schools. So with the State University Grant, what it does is it covers the cost of tuition. So by covering the cost of tuition, the only thing it does not cover would be like those fees. So like the state, so rather the student union fee, the student recreation fee, the health center fee, all those small fees that are tacked onto your tuition, those are what it doesn't cover. And those really range in cost from anywhere from $125 to $360, depending on the CSU campus. Again, this is only available at the CSU level. So if you were to choose a UC, this would not be something that you would be eligible for. But if you are 8540 eligible through the DREAM Act, then you are eligible for this award as well. And then so you also do have the option to take out student loans. So say, for example, for those extra fees, it varies again from campus to campus. The most expensive fees are at CSU Bakersfield. The cheapest fees are at Cal State LA. So you're never going to see them exceed per semester those $360. That's generally what you're looking at. So if you want to take out loans to cover those, that is a possibility. Generally, loans are offered to all students. And you do have to complete loan entrance counseling and the master promissory note, which is you can fill out through studentloans.gov. These are the most current student loan rates nationwide, which are also a little bit higher than normal, which is also something to take into consideration if you're worried about student loan debt. It is something to be realistic about. It is higher than what it normally has been in the past. So these are some of the scholarships. There are also scholarships through the university available. There is the Giles T. Brown Travel Grant, the Julian Tagashi Living Legacy Endowed Scholarship. There is the Lucas Aerospace Cargo System Scholarship in Mechanical Engineering Design. And I'll again upload this PowerPoint at the end. There's also these scholarships, the Alumni Association Student Scholarship, the Chicano Latino Faculty and Staff Association Scholarship. And then there's also the Palante Fellowship Program, which is actually the program that I oversee. And so this one, you are receiving $1,000 total for the year, $500 in the fall, $500 in the spring. To apply for this, you are submitting the application and one letter of recommendation. And what's really cool about this program is that you are being paired up with a faculty mentor who's going to essentially help you navigate the graduate school process, as well as that you're also attending cohort meetings. So you do have a cohort with other ECS students who are in the grad programs. You're also attending career development workshops as part of this. So it isn't just, you receiving funding, it's also you going through an actual program where you're getting an experience. It's more than just, funding. It's helping you with your career development. So this is actually another option that you have with funding here at Cal State Fullerton. Another one is the Graduate Equity Fellowship. And this one is great, especially if you're looking into applying to, PhD programs. This one will be great for you. So the funding ranges from $500 to $2,000. The application for this would require a personal statement, a letter of recommendation, and the application form. Again, I'll upload this so you can click on the links. And then you're also able to take on graduate assistantships or teaching associateships or research assistantships. And so basically what these would help you with is in gaining experience of what it's like to work in the higher education setting. Say, for example, you want to teach your own class. A teaching associateship or teaching assistantship would be a great opportunity to be able to do that. You'd be able to, take on a class, with oversight from a faculty member or a department chair or a dean. And it's a really great experience if you're planning on teaching like at the community college level or at the university level in the future. And to gain information on those, you can contact the Career Center, the individual college that you're in, the departments, the faculty, or the Office of Graduate Studies. So here are other opportunities for support that you can gain through as being a graduate student on campus. So the Office of Graduate Studies, these hours are actually outdated right now. We're open Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 4:30. And so we're still in CP 950. So again, that's Monday through Friday from 8 to 4:30. Currently, I am taking appointments as well for one-on-one advising for grad school. And then we also have, we also provide support for academic policy support, graduation check support, and then we also have the Graduate Student Success Center. And so the GSSC is currently in the process of being reopened right now. But it does offer, study spaces, computers, whiteboard charging stations, graduate success consultants, other workshops kind of like this one. It's located in the library, the south wing of the library. So just to kind of give you some background as to where that is. Are there any questions?